Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round two of the Wheelchair Basketball Australia, coming to you live from the Gold Coast Roller Dome. And we've got the Victoria Wonders in here tonight, and they're going to take on the Gold Coast Rollers. My name is Mal Crawford, and joining me up here in the booth is Adam Darragh. Adam, welcome.
Thanks, Mal. Excited. Round two expansion teams about to go head-to-head. Some great stuff from both teams last weekend, and really excited, especially for the Gold Coast girls, with the injection of former glider Annabelle Lindsay tonight. Can't wait to see her on court.
Yeah, look, we're really expecting big things, so hopefully that's what we see here tonight. Mate, obviously you were here last week. What were some of the strengths here for the Gold Coast Rollers? Yeah,
absolutely. Look, speaking to Coach Ella Sabblejack before the game, she was really pumped about her girls' first game, their maiden voyage last week, and she had a lot of positive things to say. Look, tonight they inject Annabelle Lindsay, as I just said in the opener, a former glider. She's going to be a huge punch for the Gold Coast offensive attack. Look, Bridie Keane leads the scorers with 15.5 points per game, and she had a great weekend last week. Unfortunately, the girls went down with all three games to the Perth Wildcats. But youngster Ash Grice, 12.3 points per game across the weekend in round one was great, and Mel Thompson did a fantastic job as well. They've got some great talent here on the Gold Coast, and look, a few of the keys to tonight's game that Ella was talking about earlier was that she really wants to stretch the floor using Annabelle's pure shooting touch. Look, find the open player. She expects that Annabelle will probably draw a double team here and there to find an open player and be ready to shoot. Be ready for the Wonders press, which they've did a great job last week against the Thunder in Adelaide. And she just wants them to advance the ball. Well, last week against the Perth Wildcats, they were really able to push the Gold Coast backwards into their backcourt, causing a couple of 8-second violations. So they've done a bit of work this week, and they're looking to try and inject a bit of new blood into the team.
Fantastic. And all right, a big shout out, of course, to Basketball Queensland, Gold Coast City Council, and of course Gold Coast Basketball for hosting this amazing event, and of course all the rounds that are being held here on the Gold Coast. But mate, Victoria Wanderers come in, and they've got some heavy hitters on their side as well.
They certainly do. They went 3 from 3 last weekend against Adelaide Thunder. Leandel Toso, leading the way. Former glider, of course. She was a silver medalist in London back in 2012 at the Paras there. She's the second leading scorer in the league at the moment, and she's supported by Laura Devoli, 16 points per game, and she's third across the league. Sarah Kaladi is a good story as well. She's come from tennis across and had a really good chat to Leanne before the game too, and she discussed the fact that they've got players ranging from 63 all the way down to 11 down in their new play-on development program that they have in Victoria, which is well supported by Basketball Victoria, and Shelley and Leanne are both really pumped about their program and how far they've come so far. 2 expansion teams on the floor tonight. Should be a good one.
Should be an absolute cracker as we both coaches finishing final instructions, getting some touches around the high fives, and once we've got some starting fives, we'll let you know, and not too long until the tip-off. So let's go through for the Gold Coast Rollers. We've got Bridie Keane will be starting, as well as Sarah King. Annabelle Lindsay, of course, on debut. She's just going to be a huge injection for the Rollers, you've got to think. And then as we go along the roster, we've also got Ashley Grice, of course, checking in. We'll get to the starting 5 for the Victoria Wonders shortly, because we are about to tip off and have some action here as part of round 2, coming to you live from the Gold Coast. It's part of Wheelchair Basketball Association. Tippity whippity boo, we're underway, and Gold Coast Rollers will come down with it in the hands of Annabelle Lindsay. No, it's going the other way, just like that with the Victoria Wonders.
And that's the experience of Del Torso there, able to get up in the lane and get the hands in. Quick, easy buckets here for the Wonders.
Oh, great lead pass, easy dime. I say easy.
Yeah, look, have you ever sat in a chair?
I have. I thought I would be amazing at it. No.
It's tough.
No, yeah.
It's tough.
I don't have the core strength yet. Growth mindset. As we have a shot there from Bridie Keane. Missing to the left. Comes away with the Wonders.
The Gold Coast want to have a heavy diet of that. The first possession there from Annabelle Lindsay, which she saw a little bit of great pass.
Yeah, absolute fantastic one again. We see our first foul of the evening. And, of course, we see Leanne Del Toso really just starting because can't help but feel she's going to fill it up tonight.
Absolutely. Look, going back to that first possession for the Gold Coast, ball movement was good, wide open there for Bridie Keane at the elbow, and she's been known to knock that down. Look, 15.5 points a game over the weekend last week. She's got quiet in here all of a sudden, isn't it?
It has. It has. Wonders get a couple of baskets, and all of a sudden, Gold Coast crowd. Will they get another? No, they won't. And that one's going to come down in the safe hands of Annabelle Lindsay. Hands it off. 3-on-3 as we head up the court. Bridie Keane looking for options. Annabelle Lindsay inside, off the glass. That one won't drop.
But that's what she's so fantastic at doing. She takes up space. She's a 4.5 classification player. A lot of trunk control. Annabelle's going to really be posting up that all night. You'll see Keane, and when Grice comes into the game, she'll be doing the same thing as well, looking to get the ball inside to Annabelle.
Sarah King into Bridie Keane. Again, looking for options, likes her own, and that's 2 points. Gold Coast Rollers open their account.
You look, a great screen there by Anne-Marie Alley, number 9. She did a fantastic job keeping two chairs underneath there for a wide open mid-range jumper.
And they look inside again. Wonders have it all the way up the other end. A nice tip from Leanne. So won't get the assist this time. Annabelle Lindsay again.
Great controlled tip there by Del Toso too to create a second possession.
Great trans D there from Victoria Wonders. Got back with numbers and slowed the Rollers' charge.
And that's something that Coach Lauren talked about for the Wonders as well, that trying to apply a bit of pressure in that half court, because last week the Gold Coast didn't really deal with the Perth Wildcats full court pressure. Some of the other things that Coach talked about was minimising the threats, and the big threat tonight, of course, is number 13 in blue, is Annabelle Lindsay. She's going to take up a lot of space. She wants to try and minimise her touches.
And we see Leanne Del Toso picked her up early. Nice lead pass, it's out, on the move, and that's 2 points.
Mel Thompson up ahead, screeching ahead. Great heads-up play there from Annabelle Lindsay.
It's also again, open in space. Looks inside, off the glass, and that's going to splash for Harriet Caldwell.
Yeah, nice position there on the transition too. Got to a spot really quickly. Nice shooting stroke off the glass. Beautiful.
And still had momentum as well, so didn't need to use any dribbles, just used her own momentum and followed it in. Nice one. That one's going to splash for Bridie Keane.
Keane so good at finding space early in transition. That was a really nice pass inside from King as well.
Great block there on the other end by Isabel Martin. Wonders having a great spot. Del Toso with the assist. And we have a basket inside by Harriet Caldwell.
What a pass from Del Toso. Great hands, shows experience. They found an overlap.
Waited for the defense to just come a little bit her way as well and then let that ball fly. Speaking of flying, Wonders are away with it through the hands of Laura Davoli. Slowing down now. Goes right, then left, and it's going to bank that in off the glass.
Great drive from Davoli, and she's showing why she's the third leading scorer in the league so far after 2 rounds. She's done a great job finding space and getting to the glass.
And look, it's a clear out on top is Georgia Munro Cook at the moment on the scoring charts, but hopefully she'll be able to close that in potentially this weekend. Shots on, it's up just as the shot clock expires. It's going to come away with Wonders, and that's going to be Davoli on the fast break. 2 points, Wonders. And we're going to have a Gold Coast Rollers time out here, our first of the game. Quick shout out to our sponsors, of course, for this Wheelchair Basketball Australia Round 2 game. And a big thank you to Inline Innovations, Wicked Wheelchairs, and some local supporter sponsorship through Suncorp Insurance, Gold Coast Disability Connect, Atkins Health, and Accessible Homes Australia. We'll, of course, give shout-outs to all the sponsors throughout the game. But, mate, strong first 4 minutes here. Really kind of, obviously, from the Wonders. But Rollers have been fighting back in bits.
Look, Ellis Applejack wouldn't be happy with that start. They've had 3 empty possessions in a row there where they've come down. Great defensive stop by the Wonders, but they were able to get out in a transition and fly down the floor. And that's something that Coach Applejack talked to us about before the game. Is trying to limit their transition. And the Wonders so far are doing wonders, getting out in front. And we've seen Del Toso just really, really tearing them apart at the moment. She's been wonderful so far. So I reckon that timeout is going to be all about the Rollers looking to try and make sure they're taking better options. The last three shots on goal have all been from the perimeter. So looking to try and get the ball inside and limiting those transition buckets.
And if you love that dad joke, you've probably got plenty more because we're both dads here in the booth today. So.
We are. I'm dadding as we speak.
Annabelle, Lindsay on a roll. Use that screen well. Holds for her own shot. It won't drop. And Wonders are going to come away with it through the hands of Harriet Caldwell once more. Oh, not a good pass there. Mistimed.
But a great steal from Ashley Grice, who's just come into the game, and a good heads-up play to find Bridie Keane.
And Bridie Keane's going to be fouled on her way to the basket.
Look, it was a really good connection last week between Keane and Grice. They did all the damage for the Rollers last week. Of course, they came up short in the 3 games against the Perth Wildcats. But look at these 2 girls to really build their chemistry over the course of this season. And a really, really interesting lineup here change for the Rollers, where you've got Grice, Keane and Lindsay, all 4-point players on the floor with their classification.
And that one won't drop for Lindsay. Inside. That's a good spot. Fires it back up. That one won't drop either. Rollers once more. Can't get that one to go, though. Bridie Keane unable to get it to go. Wonders are going to come away with it now.
4 bites at the cherry. 4 offensive boards, and they just couldn't come up with it.
Yeah. We call those ones coach killers in the game of basketball.
We absolutely do.
Coach Ellie over there must be...
But Mal, you can see the change that the Rollers have already made with the transition defense. The last 2 possessions with Grice getting back. She's very quick in her chair, so obviously looking to get back in safety.
Indeed. Here we go once more around the top. Options high. Looking inside. Shots up. Oh, that one's going to be short. Look good in the air. But won't drop for Bridie Keane.
Good ball movement from the Rollers. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of ball pressure on Annabelle Lindsay whenever she has it. Grice found a wide open Keane. Keane!
Oh, that one won't drop either.
There's some glad wrap on the rims here at the Carrara Indoor Sports Centre.
Wonders are away. The lead pass was on for a second. That one's going to be tipped by Lindsay. And going to remain Victoria Wonders ball, I believe. 4:25 here left in the first quarter.
A bullet pass there from Matheson. And Shelley Matheson, of course, one of their former Paralympians. She's won a silver in London. She won a bronze in Beijing, a silver in Athens. She's a very storied competitor.
Runs away inside, kicks it out. Shot clock about to expire. Had 3 seconds left. Roller's going to come away with it through Bridie Keane. No one out in front of the Rollers except for the Wonder. Great job again of getting back in Trans D. Looks inside with a find. Puts it up. We've got a foul there, and that's going to be going to send Ashley Grice to the free throw line. Yeah,
great transition there for the Gold Coast Rollers. That was one of the keys that Ellis Applejack talked about, trying to get the ball up the floor, crossing out. And for those of you new to wheelchair basketball, the wings that usually run the lanes in able-body basketball run wide, whereas in wheelchair basketball, we try and cross as early as we can, creating almost like moving screens in the wheelchair game, making the defensive transition hard to get back to the line of the ball. And as you can see there, Grice was able to get inside. Easy catch, but goes to the line.
Knocks down the second. And quick score check there. That's going to be 9, I believe, for the Rollers. 8 for the Rollers, and Wonders on 12 with 3:50 left here in the first quarter. inside. Shelley
Great
Matheson
pass.
finds again. That one won't drop. And
How's the
Keith's gonna come
one-handed
away.
bullet pass from Matheson?
Absolute rocket of an arm. And great defense there. Ashley Grice. Being absolutely bothered by Laura Devoli. Gets the switch now. But Matheson sticks with her. And it's Devoli with the steal in the end.
How's the active hands from the Wonders? Just really always being disruptive. Great pass.
That one won't drop for her, but yeah, great pass. Again, letting the defense come right to the last, then dropping it in.
The transition play from the Wonders has been fantastic so far. Really pushing the ball at any situation, any opportunity that they get.
And vice versa, getting back in trans D and not allowing rollers to get out and push when they've got the ball, which is then breaking them into these half-court situations. Lindsay can't get that one to go. And Devoli's just going to let that one go out of bounds. 2:31 now left. 4 points is still the lead.
Great defensive possession there for Victoria. You see the switching there between the lows for the Wonders. Shelley Matheson really making heavy contact and making it really difficult for Annabelle Lindsay to find any space there at the top of the key, having to settle for elbow jumpers so far.
So we've got Georgia Urbett and Madeline Kelton checking in for the Rollers. This way and that way with Matheson. Oh, great find on the wing. I say wing. I meant block.
But Devoli already on the score, doing damage on the scoreboard already. But Shelley Matheson just dictating the game so far. Great heads-up plays. Really doing a great job finding her teammates.
Certainly has presence on the court. Oh, that one's a tip. Will Matheson track this one down? No, Ashley Grice is going to come back with it. Lindsay. Long two. It's up. It won't drop. Shot clock was expiring. That's going to be going the other way now.
Looking past season, Lindsay has been an absolute sharpshooter. First week back on the court, probably a bit of rust. The first few shots have been a bit rusty, been a bit flat.
And look, let's give credit to this incredibly cold, all of a sudden Brisbane Gold Coast weather we're having.
What is going on?
Like beautiful one day, freezing the next.
We're both in jackets.
Yeah. And Matheson's going to chuck it back in for the Wonders. Victoria Wonders. We're just going to... Referee's just doing a quick check with the score bench before handing it back in.
And talking about Annabelle Lindsay, those people who might be new to wheelchair basketball, all the players on the floor are all classified based on their disability. 4.5 is the highest, ranging down to a 1.0. 1.0 usually are the players you'll see on screen who sit quite low in their chair, have a lot less trunk movement, and do a lot of the screening and passing action. You'll see like Shelley Matheson with the basketball right now. It's just fantastic dexterity, incredible push and agility with the basketball.
Matheson.
What a pass.
Inside, absolute banger into Sarah Kaladi.
Whereas our 4-point players have the highest amount of trunk movement and lower level of disability when it comes to them sitting in chairs. The majority of them can weight bear or walk as well. But then it shows that the strategy behind it for the coaches, only 14 points are allowed on the court at any one time. So having a light-up of Keane, Grice, and Lindsay at one time allows for the Gold Coast Rollers to utilise the rookie rule.
Yeah.
And having Anne-Marie Alley on the floor at times because she's a 0-point player. She gets a deduction being a rookie the first time playing in the league.
Fantastic. If you got it, use it.
Yes.
Victoria Wonders ball from the side. Love it when the referee just pops her hand up and says, no, that was on me. Let's come back. Redo that one.
Doesn't happen very often, but that's referee Reinman down there. She hails from Toowoomba.
Tell me you're a former player without telling me you're a former player, Mr. Darragh.
Yeah, I was once teammates with her brother Glenn. Hello up there if you're watching.
That one's going to be out again. Going to remain Victoria Wonders ball from the baseline. 51.3 seconds left and 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Matheson rolls into one. Couple of dribbles now. Lines their own shot up. That one won't drop. And a gaggle of defenders in the key there for Rollers, ready to track down that rebound.
And one thing that Coach Sabeljack talked about was like Ash Grice just grabbed that rebound, then trying to get out onto the transition as quick as possible. Oh, Matheson, how's the hands?
Yeah, and snatched it up, threw it straight ahead. Oh, what a pass inside. Absolute banger play. Sadly, that one didn't drop, but that Isabel Martin pass, that was something special. Inside again. And that one still won't drop. Sarah Kaladi just coming up, going a little bit long with that one. But with 12.2 seconds left, Victoria Wonders will get another roll of the dice. Can they get another basket just before first quarter comes to an end? Sen. Davoli fires her own. It's short. Matheson with the rebound. To Kavoli. Dribble. Needs to get it up. About to expire. Uses all the clock. It won't go, and that is going to be first quarter time here at the Wheelchair Basketball Australia. Round 2 game between, of course, the Gold Coast Rollers and the Victoria Wonders. But, mate, strong start here from the Wonders.
Absolutely. They've done a great job getting out in transition. And in offense, they've pretty much just been picking apart the Gold Coast Rollers. They're setting screens on the block, allowing their shooters like Davoli to get open. But Shelley Matheson, former Paralympian, just picking the Rollers apart. They've really got no answer for her. She's showing that her experience really is shining. Her and Leanne Del Toso leading the way for the Wonders. In this second quarter, look for the Gold Coast Rollers to really try and penetrate that paint, as we say in the able-bodied game, getting feet in paint, getting wheels in the paint to try and get easier buckets. Right now, they've been really having to live and die by the perimeter, which is long shots causing long rebounds, and of course long rebounds heading out to long passes. So transition defense has been a bit of an issue for the Gold Coast Rollers, looking for them to tidy that up.
Yeah, on the other side, of course, Victoria Wonders doing a great job on their defensive. Trans D getting back really quickly with numbers. It's not just 1 or 2, it's often 3 or 4 getting back in front of all the Gold Coast Rollers that are out on the lead. And on the flip side as well, there's been a couple of times when the Wonders have been pushing up the court, and a couple of cheeky, almost double screens, at half court, really slowing down the Rollers as they're looking to turn and get back on that Trans D. So Wonders really putting together a wonderful first quarter.
100%.
Well,
and it really emphasises the point. In able-bodied basketball, we talk about defensive transition, getting back to the line of the basketball. In wheelchair basketball, it's even more important. Setting up your line, setting up your, basically an attack on defense, being able to then find the ball, find the man. And as you spoke about, those transition terror screens, as we call them, has been really allowing Shelley Matheson and Davoli just to do what they like. So, look, let's put this down to a little bit of inexperience here for the Gold Coast Rollers, but it's only an 8-point lead here so far for the Wonders. So I'm hoping the Gold Coast will turn around and get and chip back into this lead straight away.
All right, and here we go. We've got almost back to live action now. And we'll give a quick shout out to some of our other sponsors as well. The Right Way Support Work, Loan Market, Veblen Media, TEFL and TCS Services, Mining and Transportation Service, and of course big shout out to Basketball Queensland, Gold Coast City Council, and of course Gold Coast Basketball for hosting us here at Carrara. And talking of BQ, we've got Jared in the house, always keeping an eye on things, making sure everything's flowing. But almost back to live action here. We're just referees having a quick chat with the score bench before we tip off this second quarter. But mate, keys to the game that Coach Ella wanted to talk, really talked about with us before game. Now, how's that going through this first quarter?
Look, they're getting Annabelle touches when she can, but of course on the other side of things, the Wonders are doing an amazing job of limiting her touches and really causing contact for her. Look, if we remind the viewers at home, they really wanted to stretch the floor and create spacing through Annabelle and find open looks, but the Wonders are doing a great job of limiting those open looks by really getting wheels on chairs and making contact and really being forceful with their play.
All right, and we're back to live action. Second quarter's underway, straight inside to Matheson, and that one won't drop. Annabelle Lindsay in her airspace there.
Nice lob play there to start a triple screen on the weak side with Matheson. With Davoli finding Matheson.
And Isabel Martin doing a great job getting back, cutting off these lead dribblers and lead cutters for the Gold Coast Rollers. We're going to foul there on Matheson, I believe.
Yeah, look, Annabelle Lindsay really forcing the issue, trying to get low on that block and find position early. Shelley Matheson wasn't having any of it. Good pass from Thompson in there, though, to the low block.
Bit of a chuckle there after the play as well, which you'd love to see. Shots up.
Oh!
Used almost everything, but just wouldn't drop through the net.
She's getting the looks that she wants. She's getting finding her spots, and as you can see, she's got a beautiful stroke. Just can't find the bottom of the net at the moment.
And we've got a bit of a spread court here. Lots of space. Looks inside. That one won't drop. Great Matheson pass again, but the Sarah Kaladi shot will not drop.
And something that's a little different to the able-bodied game as well is being able to screen players out. You'll often see there'll be a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 in transition with players in the backcourt because a chair just won't let another chair out and just locks them in jail.
And the speed, like the speed of which, as soon as the players aren't waiting. Oh, that shot's up. That one's going to be short. Players aren't waiting for the ball to be handed in. You'll see there's motion straight away as
Absolutely.
soon as the ball goes. As soon as the referee holds the ball, the wheelchairs move left, right, and other to try and block out players.
Yeah, on that possession there, Isabel Martin looking to try and block out Bridie Keane, and it worked.
Great lead pass there again by Matheson, and fantastic basket by Laura Davoli. Those two are getting a little bit of a connection going now here early in this first half.
100%. And Isabel Martin, a young player from Victoria as well. Look for her, an up-and-comer, possibly in a Gliders uniform soon.
That's going to be Rollers ball. Not that I normally follow opposition teams when they point and direct when the ball's going out. Saw that one with my own eyeballs. And that one's into Mel Thompson. Right back, of course, to Bridie Keane. The hook pass. Won't drop. And it just feels like there's a lid on the Rollers basket here. No points in the first 2 minutes.
Almost feels like there's an extra player there for Victoria at times. Matheson just is everywhere, forcing another tough late shot clock shot from the Gold Coast Rollers.
And shots up, they won't drop. And Laura Davoli with another miss this time. But again, good look. That's definitely her shot.
Deep catch.
That one won't go. Matheson with the rebounds. And away go the Wonders. Oh, nice trap late. Dribbles left. Won't go. Both teams finding it hard to get buckets, even when they're open and they're really good shots.
But two really good possessions for both teams. I mean, Annabelle Lindsay really forced that one. She was off balance caused by Matheson. Nice inside look there from Keane.
Drop from Mel Thompson.
And at the other end, Isabel Martin set a great cross screen for it was Laura Davoli to come off her back. Just couldn't quite get it to go. Oh, beautiful.
Matheson. Slicing through, and then a lovely move from Laura Davoli. Just cutting to the basket. Easy 2 points.
How did she get through that gap? Incredible movement and agility there from Shelley Matheson.
Goes left. Matheson again. Getting in front, doing a great job there. Forcing a baseline, not letting it go past. Lindsay eyeballs it. Comes down with the hands of Mel Thompson, but that's going to be short. And ahead to Matheson. Look out ahead.
Look at the Victoria get out on the break. Look, accidental and incidental contact there. And look at the toughness of these women, will you? The Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League is no joke. As you can see, Shelley Matheson got out in the break, clipped wheels with Annabelle Lindsay, one of her former teammates, and she's back up. And good to see the Gold Coast crowd giving her a round of applause as she gets up. You'll see that. You'll see multiple people hit the floor. Last week we saw Bridie King come out of her chair 4 or 5 times. And the low point players such as Matheson, who goes to the line too, will usually require some assistance to get back up, but our higher point players can usually pop out of their chairs and jump back in.
And Matheson will head to the free throw line. Oh, absolutely perfect first one.
Yeah, beautiful stroke.
Again. And we had to say something, didn't we? We had to
It's
say
always the
something.
commentator's curse, isn't it? Did we have a? Maybe that was an unsportsmanlike foul, or was
Can't help but think it must have been something a little bit extra.
Because it must have been an unsportsmanlike because it was it would have been the angle of the chairs coming together, which of course 2 shots and possession. And for those people who are new to wheelchair basketball, there is no double dribble rule. You do get 2 pushes after you place the ball in your lap, just like you would get 2 steps in able-bodied basketball.
Yeah. Matheson,
What a pass.
Pass inside. Aggressive one off the rim. That one won't go. There for Harriet Caldwell. Matheson has it back again. Gets herself to the block. Great pass. Cross court. That one won't drop though. And Laura DeVoli is coming up a little bit short with some of the shots.
The backcourt ball pressure is just seeming to be very difficult for the Gold Coast Rollers to get over half court. The hands in, the disruptive defense has been very, very good so far. And with only 16 seconds left on the shot clock, they're going to have to throw the ball from the backcourt and get a catch here in the front court here, the Gold Coast Rollers.
And Ashley Grice for a little bit there. Yep, Matheson's back on her again.
It is going to be an 8-second violation, Mel.
And like we talked about before, they're going straight back to that hustle. They're not waiting for the ball to come in or even to be handed. Going straight back, and look at the amazing work and hustle that goes into just getting the ball in.
Absolutely, and that's something that Coach Sabeljack will have to obviously teach and explore with the Gold Coast ladies, because being new to the competition, not all of them have played at this level before, and the more they play, the more they hit the hardwood, the more experience they're going to get, and they're going to come up against some experienced campaigners like the Del Tosos and the Mathesons and the up-and-comers, but I think it's all building chemistry and character for them so far.
And Bridie Keane almost had a steal there, but it's going to be back with the Victoria Wonders. Through the hands, it's up. That one won't drop for Isabel Martin. And it's going to come away with the Rollers from the rebound of Ashley Grice, and now in the hands of Bridie Keane. And there's 8 seconds. Again, Victoria Wonders just doing a great job with their defense.
And here's that full court pressure that Coach Sabeljack talked about in the pre-game chat. Expect to be pressed, expect to be pressured, and how they're going to deal with that. Play with poise, and so far the Wonders have found themselves a recipe for success.
Matheson kicks it in. Back to Matheson now. Cross court to Leanne Del Tosa, and fires it in. And that's a potential worry for Gold Coast Rollers fans, because if Del Toso can
look, just great ball movement, and good spacing by the Wonders, but they've really got the Gold Coast wondering how they're going to get the ball over halfway, because once again that was the shot clock's down to 16 seconds again. Great defensive pressure.
Yes, it really has been. You could even go as far as to say it's been wonder bar.
Love it, Mel.
Yeah. Like I said, 2 dads up here, it was bound to happen.
Absolutely.
Ball gets kicked around. Nice move by Annabelle Lindsay. Tries to go base. Great move by Isabel Martin just to get in front. The ball gets kicked around. And again, Rollers having to use all their shot clock.
Yeah, just good defensive transition again. Defensive pressure from Victoria. Shelley Matheson just doing whatever she likes here, unguarded.
Yeah.
Gold Coast basically daring her to shoot the ball, but she's just finding wide open players, and there she goes, pops it from the elbow.
That one won't drop. But Bridie Keane's going to come away with it quickly. And Rollers with a little bit more speed on there this time round. They're going to get over halfway. But again, Wonders doing a great job getting wheels in the paint defensively and slowing down any real opportunities for cuts to the basket by anybody from the Rollers. That one's again going to use all the clock before having to rush a shot late in the clock.
Yeah, offense is a little bit messy at the moment. There's been not a lot of spacing there. They're really going to have to utilise players such as Bajaya as well to try to set some more screens. There's a lot of perimeter play here from the Rollers, and they just haven't been able to knock them down so far.
Matheson used that screen well. Now pick and roll is absolutely perfect and drops in for Laura DeVoli. And again, that could be another potential problem if Matheson can get DeVoli hot here, as we have just 3 minutes left in this first half of action.
But a textbook pick and roll in wheelchair basketball there, where DeVoli set the low screen and allow the defender was caught high. Lindsay had to get out to the ball, and of course, Bridie Keane was just stuck behind.
And that one won't drop for Lindsay, but will come off, and that one will.
King, nice.
Flash for King inside.
Going to need a lot more of that now.
They certainly will. Quick score check, 25 here for Victoria Wonders and Gold Coast Rollers. 15 points back on 10. Matheson to Del Toso. One won't drop for her.
But that's just not good enough from the Gold Coast. Allowing a player such as Leanne to be, and her experience, to just get warm-up jumpers, sit there in the corner undefended. They're going to have to change that at a half-time break.
King now, fresh off that last basket. Looking for someone to cut. Finds it inside. That one won't drop, though, for Christie. That one will.
Yeah, but Jaya had really good position on there. I mean, I think they're going to have to find the ball moving through the hands of their lows more than just sticking with their highs and mid-pointers.
Kicks ahead, just crosses in time, does Del Toso. 16 seconds on the shot clock, got ages now. Wonders doing a good job of getting that ball up the court, and there it is again. Laura DeVoli just finds herself in good position, and those shots that weren't dropping for her just a few moments ago are now starting to drop.
Well, she's getting better looks. She's getting close to the bucket. She's really slashing well, and having players like Matheson who can just put it on a dime is going to be very advantageous for her career moving forward.
Bridie Keane eyes up her own shot, rolling backwards. Fadeaway splash from the free throw line.
Yeah, Keane looking to get it going, and Gold Coast is going to need to do a lot more of that if they're going to try and bridge the gap here.
And King getting boxed out now. The backcourt. And Bridie Keane can't help but think she's going to be on about 10 rebounds so far. And she's going to pick up a foul. Draw a foul. And I believe that's going to be on Matheson. Just her first of the evening. We have some subs here for the Victoria Wanderers. We've got Catherine Reid checking in, and Kim Hampton as well for Victoria Wanderers. 56.1 seconds left here in the first half of action. And look, Victoria Wanderers in a strong position, but Gold Coast have been able to close in the last minute or so. Those two quick baskets, and they do have a possession now as well. So
Victoria opting to hop back and pick up from the keyway rather than what's really been working so far and pressing up the floor. The Wonders are doing an amazing job of getting back to the line of the ball, building their line of defense, and then switching from there, applying ball pressure, sometimes double, triple switching to get around and thwart any of the offensive looks that Gold Coast are trying to get. So really good defensive plan or game plan from the Victorian Wonders. It's been a really tough slog for the Gold Coast to try and find any easy buckets.
Yeah, Wonders haven't given up pretty much anything here. They've hustled back on every possession in numbers as well, not just one or two. It's been a whole squad getting back. And it's really made it a difficult first half here for the Rollers.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as they start to learn how to play with Annabelle Lindsay as well, and they have the lineup of Grice, Lindsay, and Keane on the floor, they're going to have to be able to utilise their lows with screening action, such as Chrissy Bajaya and King, being able to spread the floor and catch and shoot and be ready to score when they're open, not just sit and get caught behind, because when players miss long jump shots, if our lows are sitting on the low side of the basket, that makes transition defense very difficult to get back.
We just had a little bit of an extended delay here. We're we're getting close to tip, just sorting out something with our score bench and the coaching squad. So not exactly sure what it is, but of course we'll get back to live action as soon as possible. But little extended delay here just in front of before the halftime break, as referee going from squad to squad, having a chat, bench to bench. This will be interesting to see who can, yes, there's only 56.1 seconds, but both teams can really do a little bit of damage here going into that second half on the back of this little mini break. It's one of those tricky little moments where you've got to stay locked in.
I used to love these little breaks in games too, because there was always a test of who can come out and get the momentum back.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens here.
Gold Coast Rollers now. And we're back to it. Righty Keane. Long throw in. Gets it to Lindsay. Back to Keane now. And again, no rollers with wheels in the paint. Plenty of wonders. Doing a great job defensively. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Shot goes up. It won't drop. Good look inside though. And Davoli tracks it down, kicks it ahead. So has it up off the glass. That won't drop.
A little bit too much English on that one, but great play the possession before with the pick and roll from Gold Coast, but Jay just couldn't find the bucket.
Looks inside. Lindsay. Now that one's going to splash. One of the best looks she's had in the last, I'm going to say 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think all game.
Yeah.
She's really struggled to find that position.
And Del Toso has to kick ahead now. And do so quickly. And that's it. Time is going to expire. And Rollers doing a really good job of closing the gap. Rollers were not that long ago. It was 25 to 10, and just before break have closed it up a little bit to 27 to 16. So not a bad little job late.
A couple of quick little buckets in transition there. Annabelle Lindsay finding a nice low block catch, and as you can see, she sits very high. That one-handed release is very hard to get to for most of the players in the WNWBL, and let alone in the international game, which is where she did very, very well as well. Coach Tapplejack, should we just very disappointed in terms of our shot selection and the fact that, as you alluded to, almost every possession there in the second quarter, the Gold Coast Rollers were trying to force a shot, low shot, they're trying to beat the buzzer, whereas the Victoria Wonders just seem to be cruising around, setting picks, finding slashes and getting layups, and they're doing a wonderful job sticking to their game plan. Let's see if the Gold Coast Rollers can come back.
All right, and we are going to step away momentarily for a halftime break. But this has been the Wheelchair Basketball Australia Round 2 game, of course, between the Victoria Wonders and the Gold Coast Rollers. And if you're wondering how many Victoria Wonders, dad puns we've snuck in so far, I believe the count is 6 for those playing at home.
Plenty more to come.
Indeed. But we'll be right back with second half action in just a small break. Welcome back to almost second half action from the Wheelchair Basketball Australia Round 2. Games being played here on the Gold Coast at Carrara. Gold Coast Rollers, sluggish start, but really got to bear with me here. A bit of a roll on towards the end of the second quarter, but the Victoria Wanderers, they've just come out and it's been their game so far. But with the Rollers, what do you need to see from them coming into this? What have you seen, and what do you need to see coming into the second half?
Yeah, Mel, they really took a bit of a punch early from the Wonders as they really got out and pressed the basketball in transition, causing 3 8-second violations there, especially in the second quarter, and they were able to get out in transition. But from the Gold Coast, to your question, got to get more of a heavy diet of Bridie Keane and Annabelle Lindsay getting themselves nice and close to the basket, or getting out in transition. Securing the defensive board and getting out in transition is one thing I think Ella Saddlejack will be asking her troops to do. If we look at a few of the scorers from the first half, for the Gold Coast, Bridie Keane's got 7 points and 10 rebounds. She's been a workhorse so far, and leading the Gold Coast with 15.5 points a game across the first few games of round 1. Annabelle Lindsay's had 4. She's had plenty of opportunity so far. She's 2 of 14 from the field so far. So we're not going to see that all the time. Ash Grice is working hard too. She's been held scoreless so far as well. And King and Majay have also been working hard. But we've got to get a lot more ball movement for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and on the other side, of course, Wanderers, look, the Rollers have pretty much let Matheson have that space at the top of the key, try and block the paint, but she's really just been able to lead in, pull back, find inside looks, and she's got I believe it's 7 assists through the first half of action already. And of course, who's been catching those balls? Laura DeVoli, 14 points and 8 rebounds through the first half. So strong performance from them. And of course, that doesn't even really talk about Del Toso either. So who's of course come on and really been big for them as well. But it's been Matheson's show for the Victoria Wonders thus far. Yeah,
Leanne Del Toso been great, stretching the floor. She's caught the ball in that short corner for 2 jumpers. She's got 4 points, but she's been had her hand in everything, just as Shelley Matheson as well. The 2 former gliders really showing their experience and guiding their youngsters around the floor. That Laura DeVoli, man, she is a force to be reckoned with. She really works hard. She's able to get to the rim, and she just can sniff out a basket.
Yeah, and keeps finding herself in really good basketball spots, which you don't just fall into those positions. That's just her showing off her IQ early here in this round 2 matchup. Of course, the next 2 games will be held over Saturday and Sunday, and of course, Rollers will be heading on the road for round 3 down to play the top of the ladder currently, Sydney Blues, on Friday the 4th of July. But we're back to live action, and Rollers have it at the top. Keane.
That's a really nice set there to start the quarter off for the Rollers, and they get it to go.
It rolls in for them, and they're straight back on defense as well. So, great hustle after a good basket. Maybe this is the turnaround we really need to see from the Rollers coming into this second half.
A good icebreaker there from Keane too, taking her tally to 9 now, and that was a great set. Using Annabelle Lindsay as the ball handler, really stretching the floor like Coach Saddlejack said at the start of the game. One of the keys to the game was to try and use her to stretch the floor. Look, she's going to be double teamed at times, so to be able to stretch the floor and allow Keane to be able to roll in was a really, really good option.
Yeah, and as we see, Rollers not just getting back, but also forcing a late shot clock shot from the Victoria Wonders, which was a total switcheroo from what we saw earlier in the first half. That one won't drop for Keane, but good inside look and great pass there from Lindsay. Great
transition, though, there from the Rollers, utilising Lindsay to handle the basketball. She sits so high in her chair, she's able to find a wide-open Keane. Keane pushing the floor and getting that deep seal. Unfortunately, couldn't get it to go, but here comes Mel Thompson.
Yeah, coming away fast. Tracks it down now. pulls back. Great defense there coming across from Isabel Martin for the Wonders. And they're well spent. Matheson tracking down just another steal.
Great hands by Martin there to dislodge the ball. And, of course, who else but Shelley Matheson getting her hands on the ball. And she finds a counterpart.
That's going to be her 8th assist just like that. And, of course, 16th point for Laura DeVoli.
A great connection there from the youth and experience of the Wonders, and something that Leanne Del Toso was talking about that really excited her. Wayward pass there from Lindsay.
Misconnect that time, which very much reminds me of my old State League time. Always keep your eye on the ball. Through the paint. Leanne's going to have that one waved away. That one won't count.
Good, hard, forceful drive there by Leanne Del Toso. Really arranging her chair to get through the gap there, and the contact there was found there from Lindsay. It'll be a side ball here for the Wonders.
And Matheson's going to check this one in. Throw it in for us. Reverse into a spot. There we go. And Rollers have the paint a little bit locked down this time, which is good to see from them. They feel like it. I know we're only a couple of minutes in, but they feel like they're a different team already.
The Rollers choosing to come out in a zone on that possession there, and really daring the Wonders to shoot the three ball, which we haven't seen them attempt one in the first half yet. Good backcourt pressure again there from Matheson. But that time, Lindsay was able to find Thompson.
Great find there from Thompson. Gets it over. Only 8 seconds left now on the shot clock. That one's tipped away. Great job there by Harriet Caldwell to tip that one.
And that's the disruption and just the handsiness from Victorian team has just really been the difference, and it's really causing the Rollers problems, especially in the backcourt.
Yeah, love that defensive pressure. It's fantastic. And we've got Anthea Castelli and Ashley Grice checking back in for the Rollers after a good couple of minutes from Mel Thompson. Side ball now for the Rollers. 7:21 left here in the third quarter of action. It's part of the Wheelchair Basketball Australia Round 2 game between the Victoria Wonders and the Gold Coast Rollers, and that one's going to be going back the other way.
If you're wondering why they chose to throw that ahead, there was actually only as the promotional sign comes down, the referees had noticed that the shot clock was at 4 seconds. They had to get that down. So Keane looking to try and find Lindsay down court, couldn't quite connect. But as the ball wasn't touched in play, the side ball gets taken in the front court.
And Laura DeVoli doing a great job of boxing out, screening Lindsay in the backcourt, and that's going to leave Del Toso open in the key. Won't drop for her though. Now Lindsay going the other way, and again stopped once more by Laura DeVoli.
Good defensive board there by Ash Grice to really get the girls out onto the break there for the Rollers. But Grice, wayward pass there. Yeah. But the idea was right from Grice when she last week. I noticed, and after the game, speaking to Coach Ella, Ash has got to do a better job of getting the basketball and getting it and advancing it straight away. She seems to get it and puts it straight down in traffic, allowing for too many hands to get on the basketball.
Great cut through the paint, but that one won't drop. Matheson comes away after the ball comes through the hands. But again, there's been a few times tonight where the Rollers have just had those misconnects, and I don't really remember one from the Wonders in that same way where it was obviously a wayward pass. Matheson tries her best to flick it back, but won't be able to, and that's going to be Rollers' ball once more.
Even though that was a wayward possession that time, Mal, the Victorian team are doing a great job finding mismatches. We've seen the last 2 or 3 times down Leanne Del Toso up against Bajaya there, the low pointer, and the mid pointer versus the low pointer. It's going to be very tough for the low pointer to stay in front. Even though Bajaya did a fairly good job, Del Toso is just having her way.
And that was an absolute pinpoint pass, inbounds there by Ashley Grice, finding the one open hand by the Gold Coast.
Excuse me, that wasn't Bajay, that was Castelli. My mistake.
Grice fires it up, short front rims it. Totally comes away quickly. puts it through her own hands. Excuse me, does to volley. Apologies. Kicks inside. Harriet. Can't get that one to go. Harriet Caldwell. Missing that one to the left. Lindsay catches it in a bit of traffic. Held up. Now we're on the break with Ashley Grice. And
great finish.
For two. DeVoley did her best, but wasn't able to close in time.
Good heads-up play by Lindsay to get the ball out of danger there and get it ahead. Nash Grice for her first bucket, able to get out ahead. And they're really going to need Ash to start filling it up, because last week in the first round of the WNWBL, 12.3 points per game. She was great. Obviously, with the injection of Annabelle Lindsay, she really hasn't got as many scoring touches. And talk about scoring touches, DeVoley.
Yeah, once more, I believe that's her 17th and 18th points.
Absolutely.
Hands now. Lindsay wants a better look at it. Gets it up, but it won't drop for her.
I like that, though, from Lindsay. She caught it. She threatened to a little bit of a jab or a jab push. Put the ball on the floor and settled herself and didn't really have to shoot the fade away, which she's done already a few times in the first half.
Del Toso inside, tracks down a rebound. Tipped now. Anyone's ball. Who's after it? It's on the floor.
Castelli doing a great job getting a hand in there.
DeVoley through the hands, ends up with Harriet. Won't drop for her. Del Toso inside, and she's going to be fouled. That's going to be Wonder's ball from the base.
So that's going to be a pushing foul from Bridie Keane, forcing her chair backwards in an illegal position.
Baseline ball now, and Isabel Martin throws it back in. Del Toso, as casually as you like. That's now. It's the elbow. She's already knocked one down from there. That one won't drop for her.
Bridie Keane practically passed that one to herself.
Yeah. Ahead, good pass. And again, Wonder's doing a good job, but there was an open look inside to Keane. Just can't get there, and the chairs of the Victoria Wonders just doing a good job of blocking.
But how's the smarts of Isabel Martin on defense to get down and block Keane from allowing to catch that pass? You saw the eyes of Grice light up when she saw Keane flashing to the basket. And Martin very smartly got across and blocked the potential bucket.
She's done a lot of amazing chair work here this evening. Done a great job. Reading it well, reading what's coming, and getting a chair on the right spot. Del Toso just having a chat with the referees. That's going to be Roller's ball. That
was a 3-second call. Ash Grice did a really good job trapping Shelley Matheson on the weak side of the basket. They're not allowing her to move. And, of course, just like in able-body basketball, you've got to get both feet out of the paint for the 3-second call. However, it was going to be a charge call, but it looks like she's changed to... No, it is an offensive foul. But getting back to the 3-second call, you've just got to get one of the big wheels out of the paint and get back in. The casters don't really count.
And it is great to see a 3-second rule. I don't think I've seen one this year at my normal NBL 1 gig. So
yeah, you look in the able-bodied game, you don't see them very often these days because there's so much action in there off the ball because of having to sit on the split line for shooters and things like that. But in the para game, it's still the wheelchair game. It's more about trying to lock chairs up and trying to limit space. But look, the last call there, Mel, was a charge foul. And for anyone new to the game, the block charge is very, very simple in wheelchair basketball. You'll see a lot of foot plate checking where the athlete's feet sit. But if there's direct contact with a foot plate to a large wheel, if the axle is straight, then or axle is square, then it'll more than likely be a charge call.
All right, and of course we are in time out. And look, 11 points is the margin. Rollers holding on, keeping that distance, and Wonders not being able to really stretch away. Obviously, there's been big chunks of this game where it's really felt like Wonders were in control. But Rollers doing a good job here as the second half starts of just staying connected.
Yeah, that's one thing the Rollers are going to have to do here. They're only down 11. It has been a lot of transition baskets from the Wonders getting out and I guess exploiting the I guess, the inexperience of some of the Rollers players at this point. This is going to come. Understanding how to get back to the line of the ball, how to X or cross out the players and utilise it to your advantage. And the Rollers are sitting back in their zone here.
Wonders once more, bring it over half. In the hands of Devoli. Through the hands, around we go. Matheson. Again, there's a couple of times she's either shaped for the three or thought about it herself. We've gone away from it in the end. Devoli with a miss. That would have been 20 points for her. And it's pinging around, but it will be Rollers' ball from the side. Good
defensive switch up here from Coach Sabblejack, sitting the Rollers back and letting them setting them into automatic switching positions, trying not to let the mid and high point players take advantage of the Rollers' low point players, and a good transition here for the Rollers so far.
As we see Ashley Grice holding court at the top, looking for an option. Lindsay comes and takes it off her. Has Del Toso to deal with though. Through the hands, that's going to come off the wheel of Anthea Castelli and be heading the other way with the Victoria Wonders.
Good idea though, with the handoff from Grice to Lindsay. Lindsay then finding the back screener, rolling and Keane probably should have shot it herself if she had that time again. I think Castelli was in a great position to receive the pass, but the pass just wasn't on target that time. And of course, for some of our low point players, being able to get their hands down towards the floor can be quite difficult depending on how high they sit in their chairs.
All right, and Matheson, again, shapes for it. Three ball doesn't drop. Kicks inside, and Rollers able to close that one off thanks to that zone defense they're rolling.
Good hands by Keane there to get in the passing lane. 3 seconds to get it over halfway. Grice has got to send it up. She does.
That's going to be coming back with the Victoria Wonders.
The defensive pressure from Victoria has just been immense. Every time that the Rollers sit in that zone, they're not really being able to get out in transition. They're packed in the paint. And with the Wonders being on the majority of the perimeter, kind of in a good defensive transition position to try and defend any fast breaks.
As we see Ebert and Wilmshurst checking in for the Rollers. Matheson inside. It's going to be tipped away. Sarah Kaladi with the tip on that one for the Wonders. Del Toso tracks it down. Looks inside. That one won't drop for her. The long two doesn't drop. But that will be Wonders' ball once more with a fresh 14.
Yeah, Del Toso having to make one up there, and obviously she was just able to roll into the free throw line and shoot the elbow jumper. Gold Coast have got to do a better job in that, I guess, that messy play after an offensive board, having to pick up the ball and pressure the shooter.
The elbow kicks it through. Tosa once more. Oh, that is such a pure shot.
But how's the ball movement all the way around the horn? And Del Toso just sitting in the corner.
Now kicks ahead, gets it straight over. It's going to be dropped though there by Wilmshurst. Looks ahead again. Great hands from Victoria Wonders and Del Toso. It looks easy, but it really isn't basket. And that's going to be our 8th point.
Yeah, good job there by the Victorian Wonders to be able to get ahead, hands on the passing lanes, finding open players. One thing the Gold Coast just haven't been able to do very well is find that open play. But of course, to get open, the defenders have to be not doing their jobs, and that's what they're doing. The Victorian team's doing a great job of defending any of the opportunities the Gold Coast are getting. They're getting hands in lanes, getting bodies in the paint, chairs on chairs.
And they've been doing it consistently throughout this whole game. 3 consistent quarters of solid defense from the Wonders. That one's going to be Victoria Wonders' ball from the base. Sarah Kaladi's going to throw it back in. Del Toso now has it. Bring it over half. As we've got just a minute and 15 seconds left here in the third. And the Rollers staying connected job that we were talking about not that long ago could almost be a little bit in tatters if Wonders were able to get a quick basket here. But Rollers now with their own opportunity.
Yeah, Annabelle Lindsay taking cleaning the glass. Great kick ahead. She pushed the break. Bridie Keane Nice deep seal there against Isabel Martin.
Yeah. Great job. Able to just sit higher in the chair and get that shot up. Nice little pure little two.
And they're the kind of switches that the Gold Coast have to take advantage of. Anytime they can try and cross or X out, Tolo.
There's only so much you can do about Leanne Del Toso.
Really showing their experience, the Victorian side, sharing the ball and really flying around defensively. Good inside look.
Lindsay now inside the paint. That one's up. And if all else fails, remove all angle. Use the backboard as your friend and get it to drop. And that's going to be her 6th point. Which, so we've got last couple of seconds ticking down. So can't get that one to drop for Matheson. And we've got 3/4 time here as part of Wheelchair Basketball Australia WNWBL 2025 Round 2 action between Victoria Wonders and the Gold Coast Rollers. But, mate, Rollers just keep doing a good job of just staying connected. There's just a bit of a Victoria Wonders lead. That's kind of the problem at the moment.
Yeah, they just can't get over the hump, can they? It's an 11-point lead at half time. They've now pushed it out to 13 here. All through good hands and great play of Leanne Del Toso and Shelley Matheson. The Wonders are really showing their experience and the way that they're bringing along their youth, such as Davoli. Davoli with 18 points so through 3/4 so far. She's been outstanding. But the Gold Coast Rollers really got to get more out of Ash Rice. They've got to get more out of their big three in Lindsay, Keane, and Grice. They've got 1/4 to do it. It's not an amount. It's not a Mount Everest, but it is doable. But they've got to get it done early.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. It's how do you eat an elephant? One little bite at a time. It takes time. You got to do it. Piecemeal that thing, and really break it down over time. You can't leave yourself with too much to do because Rollers, frankly, they haven't been able to really put the jets on consistently and just throw together a big gaggle of baskets in a hurry.
Yeah, it would seem the zone looked like it was working there for a little while. They might get 2 or 3 stops, but then there's that one bucket on the 3rd or 4th possession that they give up, but they're not scoring in those 2 or 3 possessions that they're defending really well. So the transition buckets, they've really got to start turning that good defense into offense. And look, I think that will come as the chemistry builds and as they start to learn how to play with each other. And look, exciting times for both teams. 2 expansion teams too, by the way. So they're first time that they've both played each other as well, and only round 2. So some really exciting things moving forward.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And look, you can't get away from the experience of Matheson and Del Toso. They just look so comfortable when if they get the ball, doesn't matter where they are. They've just, they know what they're doing. And like all great basketballers do, they always look like they just have all the time in the world. Yeah,
look, some 3/4 time stats. Bridie Keane leading the way for the Gold Coast Rollers with 11. And 8, that's 6 for Annabelle Lindsay, which we've got to see more out of her. No, it's her first time playing with the girls, but, she comes with big raps. She's had a great and a really storied career. Yeah. And a Paralympian, of course. And as she fits the program and as the girls learn how to use it, we'll see those points really starting to pile up. And she's really got to turn it on to make a crack at this lead. But how about Laura Davoli? 18 points through 3/4 and 10 points from Leanne Del Toso.
Yeah, for sure. It's been that it's been the Davoli basket off the Matheson dime, and of course there is 8 of them now. 9 of them, and I feel like it's just been that 1-2 punch. I don't want to put it too big of a raps on it, but Mailman, John Stockton to the Mailman. But look. It's been a solid connection that's really worked well for the Wonders so far.
Look, I like the WNBA comparison, maybe a Sue Bird kind of play, eyes up, really always penetrating and always a threat whenever she has the basketball is Shelley Matheson.
Yep. All right, Sue Bird, LJ, back in the day.
There you go.
And, of course, we're not too far away. We just got the referees having a chat with the score bench. And that'll give us an opportunity to quickly thank, of course, our sponsors, with the Gold Coast Rollers proudly sponsored by Inline Innovations, Wicked Wheelchairs, Suncorp Insurance, Gold Coast Disability Connect, Aikens Health, among many others. And, of course, big shout-out, of course, to Basketball Queensland with Gold Coast City Council and Gold Coast Basketball. And, of course, don't forget, round 3 for the Gold Coast Rollers will be here versus Sydney Blues over Friday 4th, 5th and 6th of July. And, of course, it will be the Indigenous round.
Yeah.
Well. So that's something really cool that, we've obviously seen a lot in the NBL 1 North, but it's great that it's it's spreading across all basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the kind of initiatives that we need to have. And it's not just our game of basketball, across all sports. And you see it, that's done really well in the rugby league as well. One thing I'm really proud of here on the Gold Coast as a local here as well, as someone who represented the association. I grew up here. Is we've got a really good alignment now from our junior clubs and into our representative program, into the QSL Youth, the QSL, and of course the NBL 1, and now it's aligned with the Women's Professional League now in the wheelchairs, with all teams wearing the same uniform, all under the same banner. It's only going from strength to strength, all positive things, Mel.
It certainly is, and we're in and underway. Victoria Wonders have the ball through the hands of Laura DeVoli. Again, defense just locked into that zone, giving them space at the top, trying to not let them into the paint. DeVoli would have been points number 20. That's going to be Victoria Wonders' ball, but there's only 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
We do want to see more ball pressure on that reversal. Isabel Martin just sitting at the top of the screen, just top of the key, screening people and just able to reverse the basketball that will, finding shooters. So Castelli's got to do a better job just popping out a little bit further, trying to create a little bit more pressure on that passer.
Here we go. Throws it back in to Matheson, straight up. Doesn't drop. But we will have a shot clock reset. No. I believe we've gone just out of bounds there with Del Toso's wheel.
It was Kim Hangton, actually, that went out of bounds on that one.
Oh, of course, my apologies.
But a good defensive board, though, by Hampton, getting in the right place. And I think we've probably seen Del Toso getting all of those boards on that weak side, which is where she's been the majority of the night.
And Mel now flicks that thing ahead. Annabelle Lindsay herself to the elbow and then finds a cutter in Bridie Keane, but that shot's just going to find its way out.
But good chair contact from Matheson to I guess, put Keane off balance on that one as she caught it. She was just about to go up through her elbow, and the incidental contact from Matheson really sort of made that attempt from Keane wayward. But a good offensive set, though, from the Gold Coast. Nice slashing move, good cut. Good screen from the back there from Thompson.
And that was a little bit of our criticism earlier in the game. There wasn't a whole lot of movement and weren't getting into the paint. So, good, strong way to start this fourth quarter. 1 minute gone. Through the hands. Matheson now. It's up. It won't drop. Comes down through the hands, of course, Bridie Keane. And, great steal there from Isabel Martin.
Keane trying to find Lindsay. Lindsay just a little behind, ahead of the pass. This time, though. Here goes Keane out of the races.
Lindsay thought about the big bomb. Mel Thompson loses that one off her own chair. Great flick back there from Isabel Martin. Knew she couldn't get it back to herself, but flicked it back to a teammate who was
a hint of a backcourt violation, too, I thought.
A hint, yes. Oh, that's a great shot again by DeVoli, and I believe that is her 20th point. That one's going to come off Mel Thompson's left wheel and head out of bounds. Yeah,
ball security has just been a little sloppy tonight for the Gold Coast, and these are the kind of things that Coach Sabeljack talked about in the lead up to the game as well, looking to try and play with poise and understand the pressure that's going to come and deal with it. And unfortunately, the Rollers haven't been able to deal with it.
And Isabel Martin again throws it in for us. We're back underway here. Almost just a scooch over 8 minutes left. That shot goes up, but it won't drop there for Kim Hampton. Rollers again with another opportunity. once more, Wonders coming with really strong, solid trans D. But Rollers have got all the way down the court, though. 10 seconds. What can they do with it? Kicked out to Keane. Blocked again by Martin. Looking at her own shot. It's just going to come up a little bit short.
I'd love to see Mel Thompson shoot the first one. We had Bridie Keane and Laura DeVoli just hammering down that right-hand wing and creating space. And Thompson was able to sort of roll in. She can hit that. She showed last week she can hit that. But unfortunately, she was looking for somebody else to shoot it, and they took a very poor option with a rolling backwards one-handed heave from Keane. And I'm sure she'd love to have that one back again.
There was also rather well defended on top of that as well. So
100%.
just adding extra difficulty to the shot. But Victoria Wonders coming away with it now.
Gold Coast just have to share the ball, have a bit more trust in their teammates, move the ball through hands, create space, and give up a good shot for a great shot.
All
Another
very
stoppage
easy
in
things
play.
to say up here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, at the elite level, though, we do have some former Paralympians on the floor tonight, too, and you'll see that those ladies, when they do have the bust, they're class, and they're very, very classy with what they do and what they can, how they spread the floor, the IQ that they have. And, of course, these athletes are incredible. They're supreme. Let's not forget they're using their arms as legs as well as their hands, changing direction, shooting the basketball. It's very impressive.
It certainly is. All right, we're back to it now. Victoria Wonder, Matheson brings it over half. Again, pretty much on her own as the zone goes to work. Shots up from Del Toso again. That one won't go, but that's going to be tipped and be Victoria Wonder's ball from the base.
How's Matheson just surveying her options? She just seems to have all the time in the world. The defensive pressure needs to be up on her to be able to try and make her make faster decisions.
Here we go. Through the hands once more. Hoggers lines it up, and that is, Laura DeVoli's, I believe, 22nd point now. Just knocking them down, and we have a Gold Coast Rollers timeout. If you're Coach Ella down in that Gold Coast Rollers timeout, what are you looking for over the next 7 minutes and 8 seconds here from the Gold Coast Rollers?
Ball pressure, get stops. We saw there Harriet Caldwell just set a simple up screen against the zone, and Laura DeVoli just left-hand dribble around, rolled in for an easy bank shot. They're going to be able to put chairs on chairs. Don't allow the easy screens. I mean, it's different in the wheelchair game because the screen, once it's set, it's very hard to move. And unless you're underneath that, you're not going to be able to get a hand to the shot. So they're going to do a better job preparing for screens and applying ball pressure, which is all the things that the Victorian team is doing well.
Funny how that works sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely. All the time. Absolutely.
Rollers will have it out of this Rollers timeout. 7:08 here left in the fourth quarter. And if you are available, of course, don't forget to get down here over the next couple of days. We've got it. Rollers and Wonders will be back at it tomorrow night, and then back at it Sunday morning once more as part of this round 2 action, as part of the Wheelchair Basketball Australia WNWBL 2025 action. We're just checking with Coach Ella and referees.
It's been a lot of stoppage during this game. Referee Christine Reinman having to do a lot of chat across this entire game. I wonder if we can send a text down there and let them know that it's pretty cold up here. They've called a technical foul. There's a technical foul being called on, I believe, Bridie Keane.
And we see Anne-Marie Ali checking in for the Rollers while all this is going on. And we're going to have, I believe, Del Toso go to the free throw line. Knock down this one and possession, I believe.
So it's a technical foul on the Gold Coast bench, it wasn't on Bridie Keane. From what the referee is signalling, it might be a classification issue. Not too sure.
We'll see if we can check in and get some clarification around that. But in the meantime, Del Toso is on the free throw line. And, of course, if we look back at the game so far, obviously Victoria Wonders came out strong, really strong start. Rollers with a quick timeout, got back in it, and then it's kind of been Rollers' game. They've been slowly just in control. The Rollers did a really good job there for good chunks of the game, staying connected, but just couldn't eat back into that lead in majorly significant ways. And Rollers just being able to Rollers unable to eat into that lead, and Victoria Wonders just been able to slowly stretch this out. And now we see Wonders on 41 points, Rollers a bit further back, 17 points back on 24. But we do see some great sportswomanship as everyone's just having a chat and a yarn at halfway.
Yeah, big stoppage, and I believe it could be due to incorrect amount of points on, or player points. And looks like we're almost back to play. But look, to your point before, the Wonders really showed their class earlier, forcing the Rollers to take their first time out. It was 12-6 in the first quarter when it was the first time out. A 6-point lead when Victoria got on a 6-point run. Undeterred by the Gold Coast Rollers. We've seen that again at the start of the fourth. We also saw it in the middle of the third. Something that Coach Sabeljack will have to address during the week at training. And the ball movement and the ability to get the ball over halfway under pressure.
And here we go with the Rollers having the ball once more. Ashley Grice looking ahead, has Matheson just all over her, looking to steal that ball. Great screen there, from Madeline Kelton. Keane, shot clock's going to expire though, and again,
the ball just sticking too long in Ash Grice's hands there. Yep. The girls have got to make faster decisions, move the basketball, and get into space more, really create more opportunities for each other, setting grab-back screens and causing switches.
And with Coach Ella looking back at the footage, going to see a few times where the 24-second clock was there was a late pressure shot that had to be put up. Bowley tries to throw it out to Matheson. That one won't go, but ends up back in the hands of Matheson inside. And that's going to be a basket there for Harriet Caldwell.
Yeah, good look. Harriet Caldwell really pushed hard to get ahead of the basketball and found herself in good position. The Wonders just doing a great job of sharing the basketball. Here again in the lanes is Del Toso able to deflect another backcourt pass.
We see a foul on Del Toso now. It's going to be Rollers' ball. And that one's going to be a foul in the backcourt as well. So that's going to be a fresh 24 for Rollers. So plenty of time now. 6:05 left here in the fourth. But remember, of course, this is just game one of the round. 3 games will be completed here at Carrara over the next couple of days. If you are available, please do get down to watch, because it is it's an amazing spectacle put on by these two teams. As that one's going to splash there for Ashley Grice.
Yeah, Ash has been looking for that all night, and unfortunately they've taken a bucket and then given up one back at the other end. They're working so hard at one end to try and get a bucket, and then they aren't able to get back on defensive transition. This is something that they're really going to have to fix up. And obviously, being a fresh franchise, they're going to have teething problems at the moment. It's all about defense. We do have the offensive players here that can get it done, but tonight, the class of the Wonders has just been too much.
It has, as that one splashes again from Ashley Grice. That's 2 from 2. Can the Rollers get back this time, though, and stop the easy basket? Well, the Wonders, they're wondering that themselves, and they're looking to push. Get this ball up the court. Great find there from Matheson. And there's DeVoli once more. Another assist by Matheson.
The dynamic duo of Matheson and DeVoli. And with the youth of DeVoli and the speed that she has up the floor, the Victorian franchise is looking good for the future, that's for sure.
Sure is. We've got a couple of subs here coming in. We've got Jagger checking in. And Natalie Palmer checking in as well for the Rollers. Tosa, right in her wheelhouse. It's inside. Grice, good find on Keane. Rolling backwards though. Again, can't track it down. And Devoli comes over and almost steals that one from Isabel Martin, her own teammate.
Keane really has to try and stabilise her shot against that tough defence. Oh, good inside look.
Tosa just misses that one, but that was a great look inside, as you say. Kicked around, Rollers have it. Have some options ahead. But look at the Wonders just getting back with numbers. Keane now. Let's cut into the paint. Blocked off again by Martin. She's been fantastic inside today.
Her defensive transition IQ is just fantastic. Her effort level is just so high.
And again, on that backside, again blocking Bridie Keane from getting anywhere in that paint. So it had to be a long shot from the Rollers, and we've seen that consistently throughout the game. Just little plays like that just showing off their IQ.
Yeah, you could tell Grice was really looking for Bridie Keane down low, and as you mentioned, good Martin doing a great job keeping her out of the paint. Look, Keane showed last week in the first round, and she's averaging 15.5 points a game across her first 3 outings, that she can shoot the basketball. She's got a gorgeous jump shot. Her follow-through is beautiful. Tonight she's been forced to go to shots she doesn't want to shoot in terms of the rolling backwards. But you see there, is that Leanne Del Toso hitting the floor, flexing the guns, gets into the push-up position. Great to see other athletes out there helping them as well. The crowd appreciates that. Bridie Keane over there to help Leanne back into a chair.
Fantastic. We have a little bit of a stop. We'll quickly thank our sponsors again. Right Way Support Work, Loan Market, Vablin Media, Tefl and TCS Mining and Transport Services. And of course, big shouts to Basketball Queensland, Gold Coast City Council, and of course Gold Coast Basketball for hosting this event. That one will not drop for Shay Graham. He's checked into the game here for the last 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Keane surveying the road ahead. Eyes a way through the paint, but again, Martin doing a good job of just getting those wheels in front.
Yeah, better look for Bridie Keane that time. She got to her spot, just couldn't quite get the balance. But how about Matheson, the heads-up play, and Isabel Martin?
Again, using a roll and momentum, knocks down the basket.
Undefended, easy as you go.
Keane looking to push down the other end.
The Rollers really have a very inexperienced lineup on the court at the moment. Good inside look there to Grice, but Bridie Keane and Ashley Grice really have to do a bulk of the work.
Kick ahead to Martin once more. She's open again, tracks it down, again uses her own momentum and gets it to roll in off the front lip. Almost went the other way, but took a perfectly weighted shot. Got
the user-friendly roll on that one. Getting out on the break is Isabel Martin, doing a great job defensively and then finding ways to get out and start the Wonders break.
2:20 left now. Here in the fourth quarter. Finds inside. There's Keane. Again rolling back, but this time knocks it down.
Yeah, good positional play there. She did get Isabel Martin caught a little bit lower that time. She was able to use her length. And on the opposite side, Kate Shee, I should say, number 1 for the Wonders, doing a really good job of blocking out on the opposite side too in case of the miss.
Matheson using the head and body fake and then just going all the way up the court. Gets herself back to the elbow. There's a comfy spot for her, and I think that's her 3rd or 4th from the elbow tonight. They've looked good, and Rollers again just leaving her just a little bit too open, but she's also too good. You can't track her everywhere.
No,
been able to tonight anyway.
Yeah, but she's just, it's like we're daring her to shoot, and she's just too good to leave open. Good hustle there by Bridie Keane.
Yep. Tracking down her own rebound on the first miss, and then knocks down the second.
Matheson is just so impressive. Her experience is just shining here tonight. She's been leading her team so well. Double digits tonight in assists. And able just to those athletes who just look like they've just got so much time. The pros, the top of the game. She's obviously been at the top of the game, still is at the top of the game, and she's so good to have here in the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League here in Australia.
She certainly is. Again, just has all the time in the world. That one won't drop. for Kim Hampton. And we're going the other way.
And once again, Matheson just surveying her options, exploring, undeterred, finding a wide open Hampton. Hampton's had a couple of looks from there, and like to see that the Victorian squad, Del Toso, go grab their youthful players and help them with their mechanics. They're doing a great job down there in Victoria, as Leanne was alluding to at the start of the game tonight. They've created their development program there now for women in wheelchairs called the Play On program. And they've got a bulk of athletes down there waiting in the wings. And huge credit to Shelley Matheson and Leanne Del Toso to get that off the ground for Basketball Victoria.
And 10 seconds on the shot clock, 8 seconds now. Kim Hampton fires away. It's going to come off the wheel. Doesn't hit the rim, so there's still only 3 seconds there.
Yeah, and Wilmhurst in good position there for the rebound. Unfortunately, it caught the net, and then of course caught the wheel.
Matheson has to get it up quickly and does. Oh, that looks so good out of the hand. Thought that was going to drop. Wilmhurst looking to hustle. Has Matheson ahead of her, and those fast hands of Matheson just knocks that one out of bounds. We have 26.4 seconds left here in the fourth. We've got Wonders on 53, Rollers on 32, and about a 7-second shot clock differential as well, as Grice gets a shot up, but it won't drop for her. Wonders kick ahead to Matheson. Shot clock's off now, 14 seconds left. Nice find inside to Martin. Can she get that one to roll? She can't, but she will be fouled and head to the line for 2.
Look, good transition, D, there from Grice. Referee probably could have let that one go with 10 seconds left to go. There wasn't much contact in that, but Isabel Martin's had a great game, hasn't she? She's done so much work defensively. Is doing a great job getting back on defense, setting great screens in the pick and roll, and then this late in the fourth, getting out in the break. So great things for the young player from Victoria.
And you love to see that when players have a good game. It isn't necessarily represented in the box score, but on the game, in the game itself, you watch it and you're like, you were huge. You were
Absolutely.
a big part of your team's performance and big part of what could be a 21-point win here for the Victoria Wonders as the 3-ball flies late. And that is going to wrap up action here tonight. The Victoria Wonders get away with a 53-32 win over the Gold Coast Rollers, and it was just a classy performance there by the Wonders tonight.
It really was, and it was impressive to see in the first of 3 games that the Wonders have come out and put a real hurting on the Gold Coast Rollers in the first game to show them that, look, what is yet to come. I'm really excited, though, to see what the Gold Coast can do from here. Will they bounce back in tomorrow's game? Of course, they've got tomorrow and Saturday and another game on Sunday. Yep. Coach Sabeljack will, of course, have plenty of positives to give to her team, but a lot of stuff that we need to work on. Like, being able to identify the class and the players and the experience such as Matheson and Del Toso, being able to try and slow the impact that players like that have on games, and they're really controlling it so well. So, look, fantastic for round 2. I'm really excited to see what comes for the rest of the weekend.
For sure, and tomorrow's action, the 3x3 will tip off at 4 with the 5-on-5 tipping off at 5 here. And of course, don't forget Gold Coast Rollers, round 3 with versus Sydney Blues will be over the weekends of 4th, 5th and 6th of July. And of course, that will be the Indigenous round. Just like we talked about before in the NBL 1 for the Gold Coast Rollers as well. But that is going to wrap us up here as part of the Wheelchair Basketball Australia WNWBL Round 2 game. Round 2 Game 1 here, where the Victoria Wonders have come away 21-point victors over the Gold Coast Rollers. But if you are, of course, in the area around tomorrow, make sure you get down to Carrara Stadium. Get down here. Action tips off at 4 with the 3x3 like we talked about. 1 hour later will be the 5x5 tip-off. But this is, if tomorrow's games are anything like today's, that'll be something pretty special to get down here and watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's been a fantastic night, round 2. Can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
And one quick last shout-out, of course, to Basketball Queensland, Gold Coast City Council and Gold Coast Basketball for hosting today's efforts. But that will wrap us up here on the broadcast. We'll step away now, and thank you very much for watching.